And I've seen a lot of cops, I've seen a lot of lawyers pull out all the stops. I've seen a lot of children with their parents in their hands. I've felt a lot of women who refuse to understand. Well, I don't think I understand why we're making such a fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Player's Planet. You see it in the papers, you read it every day. The riots and the fires going on in South LA. The muggers and the government, they're all wanting the same thing. They take you for your money and whatever else you bring. Well, I don't think I understand why we're making such a fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Player's Planet. Take me. Guitar Player's Planet. 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 What you thought was real. Sunny skies, the smell of palm tree air. Looking back, I could never feel fair. The way the music has touched my soul, the way that the South holds its control. But I've got a new way to choose. I'm gonna start running back to the lands of new. Oh, na 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 na.
It's so loud.
Hey.
Who's really loud? Somebody's really loud. That's okay. How's it going, everybody? What's going on in AstroWorld land? How's it going? We're here on another Friday night. And I always do this, and I need to mute the YouTube site because I'm getting there we go. Beautiful. Awesome. So we are doing wonderful. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's having a wonderful time. It looks like in New York, we finally have some sort of clear skies going on. It's unbelievable. It's unheard of. It's unreal. It is. It's been so bad, hasn't it, guys? It's been hard. And girls now, ladies, gentlemen.
Hey, Dan.
It's no longer a gentleman's club.
Hey, Dan, I got a question to ask everybody.
I'm not hearing you, so I don't know if I'm doing something wrong here.
This is a question to ask everybody. I trust everybody's not waiting for the Porsche or the Bentley to show up because that boat is on fire. Have you seen about that today? Have you read that article?
Oh, Jesse, I'm sorry. Hold on, Jesse. Can you hear us yet? I guess not. Jesse cannot hear us.
I can hear Jesse okay.
I can hear Jesse.
Yeah, I can hear her.
Try, Jesse. Can we hear you? Testing. 1, 2, 1, 2.
I told Jesse we could hear you. I'll text her. I'm sorry. Let's see. We can hear.
She's got her audio source correct.
Yeah.
I cannot hear you guys, so this is my first time on Melon. So am I doing something wrong?
Let me see. Hold on 1 second, and let's see where the settings are. So
I've got my volume up, and I feel like I'm missing something.
let me see. Hold on.
All right, give me a moment here, guys. I don't know.
You are live. Let's see. Settings. Where's the settings? Default profile. No. Apologies.
Yeah, they can hear me. Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, guys. Help me out here.
Let's see. Refresh your browser. How about that?
Is set correct.
Hold on. Is she using
All
Chrome?
right, give me a moment, guys.
She might be using something else. She might not be using Edge. She might be using Edge.
I am using Chrome, yes.
And in lovely AstroWorld fashion, we have a glitch. Everybody can
live television.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's wonderful. Thanks, Gideon. I appreciate the comment.
Astrophotographers.
I'm telling you, that sometimes things go right, sometimes things go wrong, and so I know we can hear Jesse, but just so everybody knows, come on, Jesse, you can do it. You can do it. Where's the settings?
Try logging out and logging back in again.
Yeah, go ahead and log out. I will come right back in, guys.
Okay. So for those of you that don't know, Jessie Wenke has been added to the group. She has decided to join us on AstroWorld.
Maybe.
So maybe, okay. She is a budding astrophotographer from Delaware, and I've known Jessie for a couple of years now. I know she's been all over the the chat boards, the messages of Facebook and all that kind of stuff, or Meta as it's called now. It's wonderful to get some more people added to the group. So I think that's a great thing. First of all, I'd be remiss if I don't go over what I go over every time we have a show. So first thing I'd like to do is say thank you to our sponsors that have sponsored the show recently. So thank you to our Red Giant sponsor, Prima Luce Lab. Thank you so much for coming in and being a sponsor for us. And our other sponsor at the main sequence level, is Woodland Hills and Camera and Telescope. So if anybody would like to become a sponsor, please contact me at dan@astroworldweb.com, and we'll get you as a sponsor. And I'm working on a couple other sponsors too. So what these two are doing is they are giving AstroWorld prizes to give away. And it all goes right to the membership. So none of it goes to us. It all goes out to you. I think, did she come back? She didn't come back yet. Thank you for Woodland Hills. Thank you for Prima Luce. And again, if anybody else is interested, please contact me at dan@astroworldweb.com. So some more stuff, upcoming guest lists. So I know everybody, Amy Astro's on. How you doing, Amy? What's going on? So February 25th, we have Ruman. He's going to be talking to us about the platform Indigo. And that's going to be really cool because they just added plate solving and polar alignment to it. He's going to be talking about that on the 25th. Also March 9th, we have Roland Archer. And he's going to be talking about the Voyager acquisition software. It's a really intuitive stuff that is not really well known in the U.S. And I think it'd be a really good thing to kind of, broaden our horizons and see what else is out there. And I've been playing around with it for the past month, and I kind of like it. It's pretty good. And Jesse's coming in again.
Hey, I hear you guys.
There you go. And we have Jesse.
I do not even know what it was because I swear I clicked to a different
It's him.
I clicked to a different mic or different speakers and then back to the ones that I was, and here I am. So
there you go. Awesome. Glad to have you. All right. And then so on March 18th, we got Hendrik. He's going to be giving us a rundown of the Star Aid, which is a really, really intuitive standalone guider, which is kind of very, very cool. Then we're going to have Bob Denny, who's going to go over Alpaca for us. And on the 13th of April, we'll have Charles Bracken, who's a wonderful author. He wrote the Deep Sky Imaging Planner, as well as a plethora of other books that I know I have 3 of them floating around. And that's going to be an awesome set list so far. And we also got other things in the works. We have Scott Roberts. We got Colin Haig. We got I'm sure I'm going to grab somebody from Masters of Pix Insight again. Sean Nielsen is going to come back on. So we got a lot of stuff coming on this year. So come join us. Join the community, please. It's just an awesome time, and we have a lot of great guests. So thank you everybody for the support. And without the support of everybody here, we wouldn't be getting these guests. So thank you so much. And then after that, again, if you don't like YouTube, feel free to join us on any of our other social media platforms at YouTube, Discord, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And again, as always, thank you for coming and hanging out with us. We have 34 people on right now, which we're getting ready to break our record. 42 is our record, so let's get 42 or better.
You might do, because I posted on the ZWO mounts page that I was coming on to talk about the mount this evening. So there's probably going to have an avalanche of interested people across from the ZWO mounts page.
We just added 2 more, so hey, there you go. So. All right. So tonight, again, now that Jesse can hear us, and now she knows
Hogarth's astrophotography.
What was that?
I said we have a new one, Hogarth.
Oh, a new Hogarth. Yes, a little Harry Potter pun. But we have Jesse Winky. I want to say
it is Winky. Yes. Winky.
Okay, Winky, and she is a Let's hear from Jessie and see what she's all about, and introduce yourself to everybody that's watching. And again, welcome to AstroWorld and being part of the team. And you're on.
Well, thank you so much, guys, for having me. I appreciate. I'm going to be the Astro baby of the bunch here. Listening in on the show for the past couple years. I do feel like sometimes I get a little lost in the sauce. So I'm at that odd, in between space between I'm not really a beginner, I don't think, but I'm definitely not advanced. So, I've been doing astrophotography for about 3 years now. I started off, as so many else, doing visual. and just very limited by what I could do at home. And I found out that if you put your camera in your eyepiece, you can see a lot more. So before I know it, down the rabbit hole I went. So I've been say for about 3 years now. I started with a DSLR, putting that in, a Celestron SE6 SE. I do
6
this.
SE. There you go. Yeah, you almost got it that time.
I do this every time. So I started off with that, like after the eclipse in 2017, my kids and we drove to South Carolina, and I decided, you know what, why have I been out of, astronomy forever? So I ended up getting that. It showed up at dinner time one night. I didn't tell the family. FedEx knocked on the door. The family's like, what is that? And here I come hauling this box across the kitchen. It was like, hey, I got a telescope. So again, did visual for a little while at that point. Got into the, astrophotography. My family got me the EQ6R mount. And I'm using that right now. Absolutely love it. I'm using a Meade 70 millimeter quad. So I've got the little one. I think compared to some of these big ones I'm seeing. I just jumped into mono about a month ago. So that's my new adventure. So I don't I think I'm your average your average soul. Just kind of get out there when I get a chance to. Just trying to perfect what I'm doing, but I'm still kind of get lost in the sauce with some of this, some of this stuff. But that's kind of where I am. So yeah.
All right. Well, again, welcome. Glad you could join us. So Jessie will be popping in and out on the shows whenever she's available, and so again, welcome.
Thank you so much.
All right, so we got the main event sitting in the middle on the top.
I haven't been called the main event before.
Of course, we got to do a shameless plug for AstroWorks. I see that sitting right there. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about AstroWorks, Simon? Since before we start on the real main event, which is not you, it's what's on your right. But
Listen,
the other right,
no.
yeah.
AstroWorks is a little venture between myself and Tyler Bowman. Some of you may know Tyler from this show, but also from Explore Scientific, where he's one of the he's their lead customer service representative. And Tyler and I we've seen some gaps in the coverage in YouTube and on Facebook. Particularly for beginners, people like Jessie, everybody, wants to do the, videos on the deep end stuff and all the intricate details. But we feel that, sorry, Jessie, I'm not singling you out, but you're exactly the kind of person that what AstroWorks is about. We're really aiming at beginners straight out of the gate, have no experience, need some help, don't know what to do, don't know what to buy, and that's kind of what we're looking for. But we're not just looking at astrophotography, we're also looking at general astronomy as well, so visual as well, because I see the same questions every day. So for those who don't know me, I'm one of ZWO's support team. I work with the development team, and I see the same questions every day, the same kind of questions that beginners ask. So we're trying to sort of cover some of that stuff off, try and help people along the way in what can be a very complex hobby.
Simon, what I gotta ask, because you opened up the door for this one. So what is the number one question you get asked?
I wouldn't say there's one particular question out of them all, but there is a lot of confusion around back focus, for example. That is one question I see almost 3-4 times a day. And questions around calibration frames, and there is what I tend to find that there is little wives' tales that happen, and some people get away with some stuff, so they tell others that you could do this, and then they tell somebody else, but then that person runs into an issue. They try to calibrate the image, they try to integrate an image without calibrating it or using any kind of, process to it, and it goes off the rails, and then they get upset. We get questions all the time on the help desk, and I would say that 7 out of 10 of those questions people really could answer themselves, and they're sort of very, very basic, regular questions that we get. So that's what we're trying to aim at.
So you got some good news now. You've now entered the double-digit subscriber. You have 10 because Gideon Sanders. I
brought my ZWO fan club with me.
There you go. No problem, man. You get. I'm sure we'll get you. Hey, listen, and you know what? Give me the link to AstroWorks, and because I didn't even know it was live yet. I'll put it under your name on the AstroWorld site as a contributor.
We got the website up, and we're just working on some YouTube stuff between Tyler and I. But yeah, trying to slot it in around everything else that's going on in life down here.
No, lots of fun between the Olympics and whatever else. So AM5.
Yeah, this is it.
I see it. It's small.
Yeah, it's tiny.
So I know a lot of people are curious about the AM5. We recently saw its predecessor, the Sharpstar Mark III, that came out, I guess about 6 months ago. Then ZWO all of a sudden came out one with that. So let's talk about the AM5, and you've had it for now a couple of weeks. What's it got? Yeah.
So maybe let's step the bus back a little bit. So ZWO is on a bit of a transition in that they've realized that the market has also some gaps. They have some gaps themselves. They have grown incredibly fast over the last years. The more and more I get involved with ZWO internally, it actually shocks the hell out of me. The size and shape of astrophotography on a global basis that some of these vendors have. And they have done remarkably well in bringing on products. They have recognized that there are some challenges, particularly around support, particularly around the maintenance, etc., repairs. So TJ Connolly and I were asked to come on board with the team and help them. And we've come on a really exciting time because ZWO has got some fantastic plans for the next years. And the AM5 is just really the start of it. So, there is a lot of harmonic drives mounts on the market, but ZWO thought they could have a go at this as well, and came up with this little mount. The mount itself it does have a niche in the market. It is really designed for portable use. It's a harmonic drive mount, so it has a very, very strong strain wave gear in here. It's belt-driven gearbox, and to tell you how strong this thing is, I tried to stop it the other night with a scope on it, and it nearly wrapped my hand around the mount. So it is a pretty torquey little thing. It weighs 4.8 kilos, and don't ask me what that is in pounds, Dan. So 4.8 kilos. It is solid. It is machined blocks. They are not an anodized casting. They're not like a Skywatcher mount where they're sort of a casting where they're then machined out. It is a solid block. It's all aluminium. Even this little front plate on here is aluminium. Now I must just caveat what you're seeing here. This is a pre-production version, and we're actually still running through the fault finding and some of the beta testing around this, and we've already found some changes. So the production mounts, this little 3 dots here is actually mounting for a laser, which is used for polar alignment. or at least getting it in the area of the pole. This won't be on the production mounts because we've realized that the shipment of laser parts into some countries is very problematic. So that will be removed. There's going to be a replacement. There's going to be a DC socket. This switch here, this is the switch for the laser. This will be removed, and there'll be a 12-volt outlet on this, so that you could feed, for example, the ASI air on this. And then running around the mount, then you can see that there's very few controls on this thing. There is a small hand box that goes with it, which is this little sort of game-style paddle. This has Wi-Fi in it, and you can control a lot of the functions on the mount. But the one thing that you can't see on here is a display. That's because the idea of the AM5 is really to be driven either from an app, and ZWO have got a phone app that is coming, which will stand alone work with the Wi-Fi in this, or you can drive it from the ASI Air. Or you can drive it over ASCOM. But most of the features, I would say, you would drive from like the ASI Air or from the phone app if you're a visual astronomer. And this mount has a lot for both astrophotographer and visual astronomer. In this setup, it is an equatorial mount, as you can see. On the side here is the readout for latitude, and it's got all of the controls that you would expect on an azimuth elevator, a sort of equatorial mount. You can drive it around, you can move the elevation. It's got locks on the side here to clamp the base down, and locks on the side to clamp the elevation part of it. The one thing I will say about this is, unlike a lot of the mounts that I've tried, when you actually clamp these down, it does not shove the alignment off a huge amount. So that really, really helps. You're not shoving it all over the place. It's got a dual standard saddle. It's all metal. The knobs are metal as well, and it really clamps well. There are screws on the sides here for extras, weights. There's a couple of screws here you can put a finder foot on. And actually, the production models will come on this side with a finder foot also installed here. If you needed a laser to do alignment, you could actually go and install a laser pen with a set of rings on a foot in there. Or you could just use something like ASI Air or Sharp Cap, whatever you liked.
Simon?
So,
yeah, we already got a couple of questions. I knew this was going to start off really quick.
Fire away. Let's Q&A them while I remember.
Yeah, I figured I might want to start the questions off. Usually I'll let people go through their thing, but I have a feeling you're going to get, because there's not a lot known about the AM5 now.
Show and tell Q&A. Let's go.
So if I don't start it now, I'm going to have a list of 30, and we're going to be up till 2 a.m. Yeah, I know you don't care about that because it's only like noon where you live, but I mean it's like
it's 2:30 in the afternoon, so it's great. So you keep going as long as you want.
Yeah, 2:30 on Saturday. But
we're the future, baby. We're the future.
All right. So Mark Ellis has got the first question. Are the amount of features going to be reduced when controlling via ASCOM?
Well, no, not really, because so I've already tried this using ASCOM. So, of course, one of the biggest things that we've been doing in testing is trying all of the modes and every way possible to configure this so that we can use it and find, if there's any bugs or any problems. So, on the front here, you've got a standard USB socket for RS-232. You've got a guided port. You do have a hand controller port for the hand controller here. You've got power on the front. You can connect to the mount using ASCOM. You can drive the mount around. So I've been using SGP. I can drive it around. I can go to target, slew, do whatever I need, go back to home. So everything to run a sequence is there. ASI Air, the ASI Air opens this thing up tremendously. So the latest version of ASI Air that's in beta test has a Planetarium in there. So you can literally scroll around the screen and then hit go to, the mount will slew. And everything that your normal mount does, this will do inside ASI Air as well. Meridian flips, fantastic. This thing is fast. It really, really slews quickly. So while you're waiting for those, slow coach servo mounts, this thing will be whipping around to target really quickly. It also has wireless, so you can connect the ASI Air via cable, or you can connect via wireless as well. So, so far as I haven't missed anything out of the hand controller. I can do everything that you can do. You can dither, plate solve, meridian flip, etc. Everything that you need to do. So, the hand controller will be an interesting one. It will be a bit of a leap for some people not to have that 1980s computer style hand controller. But I run the this setup. I run it portable. I've been using it outside. Obviously, I've got, for those who know me, I have two fixed telescopes in my observatory out the back of the house here. But this I've been setting up outside. It is so light, I can pick it up with, in one arm and carry it outside, set it up in a few minutes and polar align it. And I've been really impressed with the speed of setup. So I don't think you'll miss it myself. And then for the visual astronomers or for the sort of DSLR advocates, there is a phone app coming as well that you'll be able to control the phone. And the same thing, find targets, go to, slews. That's early days yet on that. So we're looking for some ideas on that app on the website. So on the Facebook page. So, I haven't missed it, to be honest.
All right. So next couple of questions from two different people, from Gideon and Bob. What's the power draw and what's the weight capacity? I guess it's the payload capacity that we're talking about.
Okay. So weight capacity. So there's one thing missing on this mount. There's no counterweight bar. There is a hole here for a 12 millimeter bar, which ZWO are planning to provide. But there is no bar that is generally needed. This mount will manage up to 13 kilos without a counterweight bar, and up to 20 kilos with a counterweight bar, and with a up to a 5 kilo counterweight. This thing is tremendously strong. I've not been able to move this thing at all. So, it doesn't move any. There is no play at all in anything on it. It's extremely well made. The gearing is incredibly strong. The idea in this is it has also a engaging gear. If you were to be using this and then disconnected the power, the mount would not flop over, so you wouldn't end up with the tube hitting into the tripod leg. It literally just stays where it is. So that was 13 kilograms without. 13, how much weight? 13 kilos without a counterweight, 20 kilos with the counterweight, and you can put a bar in here and up to 5 kilos to counterweight on the end of it.
All right.
TJ's had his Celestron 9.25 SCT on this. And he said it was fine. He was sub-arc second guiding, and it was it handled it no problem at all. Nice. In terms of power, Slewing is about just under 2 amps, and it's about half to 3/4 of an amp, depending on whereabouts it is in just sort of general tracking. So it's a reasonably low power.
And it's all 12 volt, right?
All 12 volts, yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Let's see.
And so you could run this on a battery, with no problem at all. It would run fine.
All right, got a bunch more Gideon Sanders. So if I understand correctly, you do not need the ASIR to control it.
No, you can run it off ASCOM, and you'll be able to use the app on the phone. So there will be a standalone app for it. There will be ASCOM as a sort of standard ASCOM driver. So you could run SGP, Nina, whatever, APT, Voyager, whatever you liked, anything that will allow you to use ASCOM as a source of the driver.
And Amy Astro chimed in. She wants to know how much.
I think they were doing a special on these on their website. I think they were about 2K, including the tripod. I think that's over now. I don't know what the latest jumped.
Okay, so the AM5 right now, US dollars with the tripod is $22.98.
Yeah.
So that's what it's at right now.
Yeah. So this is really designed for portable use. I wouldn't sort of be looking to put one of these in, say, an observatory. You could certainly fit one on a pier in the backyard, but they don't have the size and mass that a bigger scope would have. So physically, you would have to have a fairly small pier. The one thing that is coming with very shortly for this is there is also a matching pier extension for the tripod. So you'll be able to run much longer tubes because this will actually get sort of lifted up off the actual tripod on itself. So but yeah, this thing will handle, I've already had it guiding. So I don't want to make too much of a fuss about guiding because we're still beta testing. We're still working out the bugs. But using my FRA 400 in a portable setup, I've had this guiding at 0.6, and I'm still fine tuning the settings for these. TJ and I have not owned a harmonic drive mount before. I would guess that the number of people that have ever had close contact with one of these is very small.
Yep.
But I'm really impressed with it. It's very lightweight, it's extremely strong, it's fast, the accuracy of this thing is crazy. So when you're in ASIR, when you slew to a target, literally this thing is almost on top of it. There is a very small amount of once it gets to target, and then it's done. The meridian flips are so fast because it literally flips, goes to the target. There is one tiny adjustment, and then it's done. It really is quick.
Simon, when you say, did you say it tracks at 0.6 arc seconds peak to peak, or what is the tracking peak to peak?
Yeah. So the actual PE of these mounts, these harmonic drive mounts, is quite high compared to a sort of, if I compare my CM60, for example, which is like plus or minus 5 arcs in periodic error, these are like plus or minus 20 because of the way that the drives work. But the harmonic motion is really, really fast. So what I've found is if I guide this at 1 second exposures, and literally just use a very light amount of aggression, I can keep a reasonably flat curve, on my guiding. And in terms of accuracy, I've actually seen down as low as 0.48. But generally it's around 0.6. So it's pretty reasonable for my focal length. I would guess that the longer the focal length and the bigger the scope, then you'll see some differences in that. But certainly in lightweight field equipment, which is where this is aimed at, you'll get some really good results. I was able to get 2 minutes unguided without even trying and got around stars. So, I was doing some live stacking on ASI Air, doing 2 minutes, 2 minute exposures, and it looked great. It really did look good.
Nice.
So if you were, in a city or somewhere where there's a lot of light pollution, and you were doing 60 seconds or even 30 seconds, depending on how bad the light pollution is, you probably wouldn't even need to guide. You could probably get away with actually just stacking or just capturing and not bothering with guiding. So that's pretty good. Certainly at the focal length I'm using, which is about 450 millimeters, which is just a wide field refractor.
Yep. So I got a quick question for you.
Any more questions?
Yeah, I got a question for you. I was able to test the Sharp Star harmonic. Put a semi-long refractor on there. Now disregarding the length of the refractor and everything. Those azimuth adjustment knobs, when you put heavier weights on there, how easy are they to manipulate as you add, something more than a red cat on there?
Well, I haven't really loaded it up, but TJ was managing was 9.25, and they actually seemed quite good. The one thing that he was struggling with was wearing gloves, because they are quite close into the body. So ZWO were looking at these as to whether they might replace these with a bit, a similar style knob to these ones. So that may be something that comes out on the production model yet. They were discussing that last week, but that was certainly something that they had were contemplating. But in general terms, I actually find them really easy to use. And what I actually did find was the way that this is mounted. So this is mounted very similar. If anybody has ever seen a CM70, the mount is actually on a plinth. So this little adapter here fits in the top of the tripod, and the base sits on top of the actual sort of head of the tripod around here. But the actual movement of the mount head is separate from the base. It actually sits on top of that the red piece sits on top of the black piece and swivels. You're not fighting the tripod tensioner or the paint on the top of the tripod. It's really quite smooth. So yeah, I haven't found any problems aligning it, but yeah, TJ had his big SCT on it with no issues.
Yeah, the one thing that I saw with the other one was with the Sharp Star. Those things were really, I mean, you need to have really small fingers, and you also needed an Allen key just to turn these things. And
no. You shouldn't have hands like dinner plates, Dan. They got little tiny fingers in here.
So let's talk a little bit about the altitude now, because I see you got a nice altitude bar built in there. So now So there are two. Go ahead.
Yeah. So there are two knobs on the side here to tension this. So you undo these, and then basically you can turn the bar here, and it's actually really quite easy. I wouldn't expect even with a bigger load on this that you would have much of a problem. There's actually quite a turning amount that you can put on there. If you take the two bolts out the side here, there are two bolts in the edges here, one either side. You can actually tip this up and actually turn it into an as-L mount. So if you're into solar astrophotography or solar observing, you could actually undo this, take that bolt out, and this will actually tip upright and turn into an as-L mount.
Nice.
There is a mode in here. You turn it on, hold one of the keys down on the controller, and that will turn it into as-L mode. And then you can use that. There is different rates of tracking, obviously for solar or lunar or terrestrial, sort of standard sidereal rate. So yeah, you can basically turn this into an as-L mount as well. And then using like ASI Air for this, you can get, there is no play in this bar. There is nothing. So, if I turn my CM61, I can do, quarter of a turn, eighth of a turn. Before
same thing with my 8R.
Before you actually start running the gear.
Got another question. What about backlash characteristics?
I haven't actually seen anything at the moment because it is so tight, because there is literally nothing. There is no movement in this at all. And because it's a strain wave gear, the idea of this thing is you take the power off. This thing hardly has an issue at all in guiding when you, when you move it around. It doesn't wobble. You don't feel any movement in it. When it's on the tripod, it just stays put. So yeah, it's pretty robust in terms of the gearing. There is no, I can't move anything. There is not a millimeter of movement in that.
I think Peter's for a question here.
But it's so smooth.
Simon, getting back to the tracking rates. Specifically, what tracking rates are? Is there a king rate and also a custom rate? I mean, can you divulge into what the tracking rates are?
There's no custom rate that I've seen. There is all the normal typical lunar, solar, and standard sort of sidereal rates. In terms of guiding rates in ASI Air, you can do all of the sort of, anywhere between 0.2 and 0.9. So if you were doing this for solar, it's got something in there for you. If you track the moon, it's got something in there. If you're doing, deep sky stuff, there is a rate for you. I haven't seen a custom rate yet in any of our software.
And the question I'm going to ask is that would that be a potential firmware update down the road that they would put in if you wanted to get more tracking rates?
Maybe, yeah. And so that's worthwhile actually talking about. So I've been, obviously during the testing and beta phases, I've been hitting this thing with regular updates because we keep updating and tuning. This thing you can update from the ASCOM driver. There is also a standalone installer as well. And it's pretty simple. In ASCOM, you literally do firmware update, choose the file, and then just literally press upload. It takes about 10 seconds, and then the mount will restart and you're away. So it's pretty easy to load the firmware on this. The great thing is with TJ and I now being involved with the development team, we are actually showing the development team where they need to focus. So certainly through the ASI Air testing, I think it's safe to say we had some really good releases and we've had some less than good releases. And what we're trying to do is to try and stabilize out. We've put a circle around the test groups, try and create some better test strategies within those groups. And the beta test we've got at the now, so TJ is actually testing this right now while we're all talking here. He's actually on the sky in New York State. Freezing his Bahuki off in minus 13 degrees centigrade.
It's not that. No, it's not that bad. Come on.
He showed me minus 13, so.
Yeah. Well, he's also
and then
about 5 hours
last
upstate.
two nights. Yeah, last 2 nights I had some clear skies here, and I've been doing some testing. We're still knocking some bugs off. We're still knocking defects off, but that's great because we're finding them before actually production release. So, that's the idea of the testing that we've been doing. So, TJ in the Northern Hemisphere and myself in the Southern, because, one of the biggest challenges for software developers is writing code that works in both hemispheres. You might laugh about that, but the mathematics of being upside down here in New Zealand really screws some software packages. And very similar to what we did in ASI Air, we had to put a lot of time and effort into making sure that it works in the Southern Hemisphere as well as it does, because, it messes with everything from literally turning on and the mount knowing where it is at park, go-tos and slews being in the right side of the meridian, and then guiding in the Southern Hemisphere instead of the Northern Hemisphere. So we've had a lot of work to do around that. But I'm really pleased. I took this out last night. TJ took it out tonight. And it just works, which is great. I'm really, really impressed with it. So I think it'll be quite a good little seller, and it is aimed at a particular area of the market. Somebody asked me the other day, and I'll answer the question before it gets asked, is ZWO going to make bigger ones? And at this particular point, officially, there's nothing on the radar. Personally, I would not be at all surprised if there are bigger versions of this, but that is, purely on my behalf, a speculation on my behalf. If there is a lot of interest in the market and they do well, for sure you'll see bigger ones of these for sure. I'd like to see. I know TJ and I have both said we'd like to see an observatory size mount like this available.
Yeah, right.
Now I've got to persuade Sam.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know a name. It's just Facebook user asked, how is ZWO able to produce this for a fraction of the cost of a Rainbow or Hoban?
I would probably say the amount that they are producing, and ZWO have got a really good access into China in terms of manufacturing. They've been, churning out parts for over 11 years, nearly 12 years now, so they've got all the contacts, and a lot of the groundwork has been done on these. They've had a look at the market, seen the kind of things that work, the kind of things that don't work, they're quality, but they're not a Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
They're quality at a price. They're not a Paramount style, mount. So having said that, the finish is beautiful. Everything is metal. Everything is anodized. Everything feels good. They've thought about locks and and controls. So. I think people will be impressed when they actually get their hands on one. It's fairly lightweight, Yeah. That's 4.8 kilos, So, and for such a head load of the mount can carry, that's pretty impressive, This is the kind of mount, and it comes in this nice little case. So
we saw the case, and I had an idea.
So it comes in this little case. You could put that in the trunk of the car. I'll call it the trunk, and
the boot.
That's the tripod. That is the tripod. So the tripod is so light. But it's really, really sturdy. So it's 40 millimeter tubed legs, on it. So they do extend. It will extend out to about 800 from 500. Really nice locks on the legs as well. And this is really like, you could fit this in a backpack. Now, somebody asked me the other day, they said, oh, what about the legs? And I said, what about them? They said, oh, can you put spikes on them? I was like, I don't know. It's got a rubber thing on the end of it. Oh, yeah.
That's funny.
So you could put spikes on there if you wanted a, image from a wet field somewhere. And I'll show you how quick this thing's set up. So the plate joins to the bottom of the mount by 3 M6 bolts, and then it's got this little adapter, and the little adapter actually fit in the top of this clamp assembly in the top here. Has a pin. Just stick the pin on, and you literally drop that in, and that is it. And that is all very solid already. Sorry, it's my table that's waggling because there is a tripod leg spreader that goes up underneath. There is a tension knob. And that is it. That's how, and that is really, really strong, really sturdy. You could fit that, in a backpack if you were okay to carry 4.8 kilos around. This thing is actually, this tensioner is actually not pulling, it's not really pulling the mount down a huge amount. It's actually more pulling the legs up and out. But it is really easy to adjust. So if you wanted to adjust it, you can. And then, disassembly, literally undo the knob, take the spreader plate off, undo the clamp, lift it out, and there we are. That's it. That's how fast it is to disassemble.
Wow.
Ooh. And don't drop the ball on the floor. There is it comes with this little bag, camo bag, and this actually sits underneath the legs and goes around the legs, and you can actually fill this up with weights. You could put your battery in there, and TJ's even, I think he put a sorry?
Is that to catch the Allen wrenches?
Yeah, that's the Allen. That's the bolt catcher for, because we always drop stuff in the middle of the night.
Well,
oh dang!
I think Peter and LaDonna are making fun of me at this point. So LaDonna and Pete like making fun of me because when I did the Sharp Star reveal on it, I kind of ripped it up a little bit. And, literally, you need to carry, in order to polar align this thing, and to do it, like I said, I already mentioned once about the azimuth knobs being too small and too tight, that I had to carry an Allen key with me. So I have to carry an Allen key to change an azimuth. And then you need to carry around the altitude adjustment bolt, because it's not as nicely, into the design of that.
Yeah.
So you got to carry the other bolt with you.
This one, you're okay, Dan. This won't come out. You're safe.
But they're both making fun of me because I was complaining about these Allen keys for like a month. But then there is a ton more questions on there. And LaDonna,
let's have some.
And LaDonna, I'm not saying your question because I already said it, so I'm not saying it. Will it backdrive with no power? If you lose your power, what are the issues?
No, as I was saying earlier on, there is a lock in the gearing mechanism. If you take the power off, the mechanism will just lock and won't actually move. So if you've got a big tube on there, it's not going to flip over and hit the tripod. I've seen a couple of these where they do actually move, and slowly they will actually sort of ram themselves into ram the tube into the tripod leg. That won't happen on here. It's got a lock.
Nice. Yeah, even Josh is talking. Now everyone's talking about Allen keys in the chat. So, guys, I'm gonna make myself full screen. Okay, guys, let it go. Let it go. It's okay. But okay. So there is a good question. I know there's kind of a lot of people know about this, but I want to get this out there for the people that don't know about harmonic mounts. Christopher said, well, you know what? I don't see any clutches. How do I balance it?
Good question.
You don't need to.
You don't have to. And that's the great thing. I have purposely had this thing so off balance to see if I could actually stop it, and I could not. I literally the other night I was playing around with it, and I actually went to slew somewhere where I shouldn't have done, and this thing was heading for my tripod leg, and I literally, while I'm on one hand got my hand on the tablet trying to press stop, I literally grabbed hold of the tube, and this thing is dragging my hand around, and I'm like, what? Yeah, it won't. So yeah, it's torquey. It's got a lot of torque.
Nice. Gideon hopes there will be no sharp.
I think one of the big problems is that people don't get the mechanics behind wave gear.
Yeah. So the little gear itself is an incredibly strong little gearbox, and this thing is driven off a stepper motor with a belt with a 300-to-1 ratio. But this thing, when it goes, it's just gonna go. The fact that you don't need to worry about balancing. What I did was I literally set the scope up on a table, and just with a pencil, just sort of balanced it, and then said, okay, that's kind of center, so I'll put that in the center of the mount. That's all I've needed to do. It just doesn't stop.
Wow, that's completely awesome. There was a couple of questions about lasers, which I know we already touched on. So the laser will not be.
It's sad, really, because it's actually quite fun. So you guys in the northern hemisphere probably have great fun shooting Polaris with it. Here in the southern hemisphere, I just shoot a dirty great hole of blackness because Sigma Octantis is in the middle of a field of nothing. So
there's nothing in that part of the sky.
No, we don't have a nice shiny bright star to align on in the south. We're not dummies. We have to use proper alignment techniques. We just go, it's there.
Yeah, but you know what? The southern sky is definitely, to me, a lot nicer than the northern sky. But that's another conversation.
It is. We should do an Airbnb for astronomers. Sort of timeshare some targets each side.
Oh, I already got an Airbnb in New Zealand, so.
That's right. You do, yeah. My rates are reasonable.
Let's see, Dan. No, it's good to know. Let's see. I hope the prices come down. It seems really sweet for travel mount, but a little spendy for a second.
I don't know. When I look at what you get in terms of the mount, in terms of the build and the quality and everything and the engineering that's gone into it, and if I compare that to, say, I don't know, an Ioptron Skyguider, yeah, it's a step up, but what you're actually getting is an incredibly capable little mount. I think, if I look at larger mounts on the market, I think it's got a place, and it's got a reasonable price point. Nothing in this hobby is cheap, that's for sure.
No, it definitely got more expensive over the past couple of months too.
anybody that looked at Dylan O'Donnell's videos, the 500 rule, if it ain't worth $500, it's junk.
I heard he sold something for one of his scopes, but I don't know if that's true or not. But if you don't want
for $500,
if you know what I'm talking about, if you know what Simon's talking about, go see that 500 rule video.
Yeah,
you will. It is 2 minutes of complete hysterical. So it's hysterical.
I should pre-warn people: don't take Dylan's videos like they're straight, regular conversations. He's very tongue-in-cheek, very Australian, and very cheeky. And I love his videos.
So do I. Yeah.
A lot of people get upset because they go to his videos and go, "What? It's like, it's a joke, guys. It's a joke. It's humor."
Yeah, Gideon just quoted Dylan's closing statement: "Life is meaningless, and we're all going to die."
That's right.
Go ahead, Jess.
So you guys are talking that this mount is going to be something that's just a portable setup, and I'm looking at it going, oh wow, shut up and take my money. That would be amazing. So as a newbie, one of the biggest struggles that I had was getting set up. Now I'm fortunate. I'm in a spot where I can put my stuff in the yard. I can throw a telegizmo over it and just uncover it, plug a couple things in. I'm good to go. But with the EQ, the EQ6R, I mean, that's heavy. That's heavy. And I'm looking at that going, wow, like if that was available when I was first looking at mounts, I would have been like, I would have been on that. I mean, would you consider that? I mean, I'm looking at some of the mounts that you guys are using.
That way, just under 1.5 kilos. It is literally 2 fingers, and so there is nothing big. I can put my little FRA 400 on this little 70 millimeter refractor like you've got, Jesse. This, all of the reducer, the ASI air, the focuser, all on the mount. With a tripod on, I can literally stick it under one arm and carry it outside and plonk it down. So it is very portable compared to my CM60, where I would put the tri-pier and the head unit on with no scope, no counterweights, no whatever, and struggle that out onto the back garden here before I put the observatory out there. So yeah, it is really aimed at portable use and getting people in the field with some lightweight gear. And it does that remarkably well. I've been walking around the house. I've been playing targets in the south here I don't see so good in the north, particularly if it's windy here. I try and use the house as shelter. New Zealand is in what we call the roaring 40s, and it's called the roaring 40s because of the wind. So sometimes I have to shelter around the house to try and find a sheltered spot. And so this is great because the last nights I've been sort of juggling around the house, playing in different areas, whether it's targets in the south or targets in the north. I can literally pick this up, under one arm and carry it around and move it. So, yeah. But it's still very, very stable. I'm quite surprised.
My husband's going to come running from the other room. If all of a sudden I go off air, it's my husband tackling me to the ground, me saying like, "Oh, I want that." So all of a sudden I'm gone. I'm like,
that's one of the good things.
Warned about astrophotography and the big gaping hole that it causes in your bank balances. I tell you, if you've got kids, get them involved in astrophotography and they'll never get into any drugs or anything like that because they won't have any disposable income left.
Right.
Come on, Dan, you got a lot of questions. I know you have.
I'm typing and talking and reading and emailing and everything all at once. So if I look like at any time, if I look like I'm bored, I am not. So it's just I'm too overactive. So let's see what else.
I know you're not because you would tell me if you were bored.
Oh, I would. You know me too well.
You're like, shut up, moonshine. I know you well.
Let's see. So, okay, so somebody, Gideon Sanders. Go ahead, Scott. Scott?
Programmable stops.
Scott, you faded out. I'm sorry. Say it again. Okay, Scott's going in and out. So I believe what he's asking was a question that was on from Captain 404 is that will you be able to program hard stops in the app? With that much torque, a lot of damage can happen. So is there any hard stops at all, or can you program?
Not at the moment. You can put stops in SGP and Nina, I think, but right now there's nothing in the ASCOM driver, but it is a good point. And I certainly, I'd be interested. I haven't yet been brave enough to ram it up against the tripod purposely to see what it does. There are some safety stops in this thing. It will actually stop slewing if it detects that it is actually jammed. But I don't know how much pressure it puts on anything before it actually stops. I haven't been brave enough. I've got a lot of testing to do before I get to that sort of, failure mode. I will actually talk to the team about that and see what they think.
Gideon was asking a question and I lost it because there's so much. Gideon, ask the question again, please, because we're getting so much in the chat right now. I kind of lost it and I saw it, and now I can't find it again. So
I like to go back after look at them and read what people are saying because I can only see the screen here. So
hold on, I see one that just came across, Alexandra Rosa. So when does it arrive in the U.S. market?
Okay, so we're currently in production for a lot of the parts right now. We are very busy testing software, testing apps, testing ASCOM drivers. TJ and I are the two that are outside of China. They've got a few testers inside China. The mount was slated for an April release. There's no firm date yet. The one thing that we really are sure of, we won't actually go to release until we're absolutely positive that it integrates perfectly with ASI Air, the app works, the ASCOM driver works, and they work reliably night after night. Then when we're ready, it'll go to market. There are some production changes still to be done. So, obviously the laser, the side-mounted foot, and the DC out, they'll be implemented as well. And I think ZWO have got a competition at the moment. They were wondering what to put on this metal plate. This metal plate is actually really quite good because you could actually put if you wanted, you could put a camera on the front here to use as a polar alignment camera if you don't use the main camera, or if you use a DSLR or something like that. So you could actually, print something up and put it on the front of this, and it's sturdy enough. By the way, one of the questions I got asked was, how about putting an ASI Air inside one of these and selling it as a combined thing?
Yeah.
I would not. Because if for whatever reason you damage your ASI Air, which people do, they put voltages where they shouldn't, so they do occasionally have failures. The good thing about having them separately is that you would not then take your mount out and have to ship a whole mount back. The other thing is, nosy guy here has already had a look what's behind this plate to see how that would work. There is no space in there for an ASI Air. You would not get one inside there.
Maybe if they make an AM7, then maybe there'll be some room.
So maybe an AM6 7, yeah. The one thing that you will do, you'll have the finder foot on the side here, which will match the ASI air. So you could actually just put the ASI air on the side here, or you could put the finder foot on the side of the saddle here, and use that dovetail with the ASI air in there, and then the whole thing actually slews together rather than this slewing and the ASI air being on the side here, so you'd have less problems with cables. The other thing is that this plate is actually pretty thin. So one of the things that we were saying, oh yeah, why don't we have power and USB through the saddle? This saddle in particular, there is no path from the top of the mount down through the shafts and out through the bottom. So there's no way you're going to get a cable through it, and there's no hole for you to get through there either. But I have actually, with the design team, said, hey, when we do this in the future, let's make the saddle bigger and actually have that power and cable through the mount. And that was well received. So people like TJ and myself being on the team now, we're able to sort of drive the requirements from astrophotographers that are really doing a lot of astrophotography into designs, and making sure that they reflect out in products. And you're going to see a lot more stuff coming. So this is just the start of some really interesting years.
Simon, the saddle, does it accept Vixen and a D-style series? Dovetail?
Yeah. So it's a dual standard saddle. So you can get a V-bar in the middle, or you can get a Lasmandi, D plate in the top here as well. So you don't need to buy another saddle or anything like that. And these knobs are actually metal, and they actually stick out quite a way. So you won't get a problem with the knob hitting on the plate, or you trying to get your knuckles stuck in there as you rotate them around. So they are spring loaded, so there's a spring in here as well, so they do move quite nicely. So the saddle's actually been really good. You can get a real good grip with those knobs onto the saddle, onto the saddle lugs, and clamp down. So a bigger scope, you'd have no problem at all. It's not going to slip.
I have to say one thing. What I like about what they've done is they've got dual knobs, because if you only had one knob, I've seen one knob fail, and I've seen too many scopes fall on concrete. So having So I got to say, ZW.
What I love with their metal nailed knobs. There's a couple of mounts I've seen advertised in the last month, and all the knobs on the thing are smooth. And I'm like, well, how are you going to get a grip on those when you come to do them up, in the cold and the dew and gloves and
oversized knobs that have a relief to them, where they've been machined, or they've got a relief to them that you can grab and.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, these have got quite nice. So I think you'd be okay, unless you've got hands like Dan Higgins.
These are finesse bass player hands. These hands go through.
I got a tray of these for you. You got plenty of spare ones,
What is that? What is that? I didn't see that. What are you giving me?
I'll get ZWO to throw you one in if you buy one.
I don't need any more Allen keys. Thank you so much.
More Allen.
Now it's all the way. Now it's all the way across to the other side of the world. This whole thing is driving me nuts.
But not in Delaware, Dan, because I have no idea. Y'all are gonna have to fill me in on what this whole Allen key thing is.
Well, go take a look at the Sharp Star video that we did live, and you'll get it. Okay. But Jerry Valdez has Jerry Valdez, and I'm losing my throat, so I'm gonna put it on the screen. All right. Besides ASCOM, will there be some ZWO specific software?
Yeah. So besides ASCOM and the ASI There's a standalone app for this, and for sure this thing will appear into ASI Studio. So for those who don't know what ASI Studio is, this is a free integrated imaging package that you can download from the ZWO site. It's actually a really good piece of software in there. So you can do imaging in there, you can do planetary capture. We are working on solar capture. So that's something that is coming hopefully soon to that package. And you can drive filter wheels and focuses with it as well. So it's very similar to SharpCap if you want something nice and simple. And there is one really, really great feature in that little package. There is a FITS viewer in there. So how many times have you gone, oh, damn, FITS file, I want a quick look at that FITS file. Inside ASI Studio is a FITS viewer, and you can just literally click on it and open it. So go have a look on that. It's on the ZWO site under software, and it's right at the top of the page under ASI Studio. It used to be like the old ASI image capture. So it's just branched out into some other features as well.
All right.
So that'll appear in there.
We got Hogarth finally with a 13-kilogram payload and no counterweight. What's the risk of the rig tipping? Gravity always wins.
Yeah, it does. So TJ took his out on the tripod, and both he and I were quite nervous setting up these for the first time because I've never set up a mount, and it's ingrained into my head that, hey, you counterweight bar on, get the counterweight on, and then you put the scope on, and then, balance it out. I'd not found, even in the wind here, that it wanted to tip over. With a longer tube and with a heavier tube, there'll probably come a point where you're not happy. TJ actually used his AVX tripod and used that to carry the mount, and that worked really, really well. So if you're a little bit uncertain about the carbon tripod, and I would say for your own peace of mind, I would be the same. The carbon tripod is nice for short refractors. If I really wanted to load that up, then I would be looking for a bigger tripod, a metal one, and something with some mass to it. But this thing is actually only designed up to refractors or focal lengths, short RCs or SCTs up to about 1,000 millimeters. It's if you're going to do visual, then sure, you could use the mount for a much longer focal length, but for photography, 900 to 1,000 millimeters is pretty much where you're going to get. But yeah, I mean, the guys at ZWO load this with a C11 for planetary use. Makes me nervous, but the guys there load it up and use the C11 on it, and it drives that C11 around for visual fine. What's actually really nice for visual is the hand controller with this little the little sort of joystick knob. I found this really, really great for lining the scope up and playing on the moon, for example. You can track this around quite nicely and just give it a nudge, and that works really, really well. So that's I would say if you're going to go for something really heavy, then for sure you probably want a bigger tripod. But just remember that this thing is really what it was designed for. The pier extension will also give you a lift off the tripod as well if you've got longer tubes. As soon as I've got one of those, I'll come back and we can do another show and tell with that. So they are in production at the moment, so we should have one reasonably quick. Awesome. I really, now we've heard all the stuff that has been great with the AM5. Now let's hear the dirt on it. Let's hear what don't you like about it. What do you think could be improved? Wow, what could be improved? And I'm not bumming and ahhing because I work with ZWO, and that's the great thing about working with Sam and the team at ZWO. I know that people online get this idea that they're not interested in what customers say, or big organization, they'll just do what they want to do. They are really if we see on Facebook, if we see someone with an issue, we copy that internally. We are talking about that issue. As a development team and as a support team, there is a big push at the moment. Obviously we've had, some issues and challenges around the 2600. There was some problems. We had a batch of cameras go through with the pad with the cooler leaking oil. That really hurt ZWO in terms of their own feeling about what people think about their products. They are a really great bunch, and they really do a lot of work internally. Late hours, we were up last night testing till late, and this morning for you guys, where the guys are still in the office at Suzhou working with TJ to do testing. So they put a lot of effort into it. So I would say in terms of what I don't like about it, wow. So far, nothing really. I haven't really come across anything. Things for me would be ease of setup. I had no problem setting it up. Polar alignment, everything polar aligns nice and easy. The controls are easy to use. It doesn't go slewing off when I, put the locks on, or then I have to kind of, half lock them and then move it a bit more and lock them a bit more and move it again. It slews really fast. It's easy to control. It's, solid. If anything, there's two little levels at the back here. If you've got a scope on there, it was really hard to see where the level is. But I mean, I'm really stuck at finding anything just yet. If you ask me just like that,
just
I haven't found anything. I haven't found anything that's missing,
Yeah, good.
Once we get into really using it, I mean, we're really testing right now. So I'm not really doing any long-term imaging with it. I'm really doing a lot of testing. I'll do some test shots, do some meridian flips. I'll do some more shots, do some live stacking with it. There's inside the ASI Air in the latest beta, there is a beautiful planetarium in there. So if you've ever seen Sky Safari, you won't need to worry about Sky Safari. This is all built in now, and you're able to move around. One thing that will be really, really nice is for ZWO to come out with a rotator, and I know this is something that they're asking, people are asking, time and time again. Really aware of that. I can assure you that that's high on the radar internally, and TJ and I keep reminding them about that. That would really integrate well with this. One thing, I would just maybe I know they're changing the DC power socket as well. I was a bit worried about the DC power. It's just one of those sort of standard 5.5 mil by 2.1s, and I was like, Yeah, I was a bit worried whether that would be robust enough. And the team listened to that. I think they're going to change that socket as well. So far nothing that I've really gone. I don't want to test this. I don't like it. It's been frustrating with testing because, of course, in the Southern Hemisphere here, I go and slew and suddenly it's pointing at the deck, or it, doesn't know where it's pointing at. And that's just loading up the logs to the devs and letting them work with it. And then they fix it real fast. So, so far last night was, best run ever, smooth as.
So we got one question that is AM5, one that's not AM5. Does the AM5 ship with the counterweight bar and the counterweight, or is it an accessory?
So there was a discussion around it getting shipped with the counterweight bar. I doubt whether they will ship with the counterweight because they use pretty much standard weights. And I don't know about you guys, but I've got at least 3 or 4 of these things hanging around the house. So the counterweight bar is a standard 12 mil bar. So TJ actually made a bar. He actually put a 12 mil rod in here, put an aluminium tube over it, then actually clamped the aluminium tube and made one. So, but yeah, they were talking about actually boxing this up with it when it came. But as I say, we're in pre-production mode at the moment, so they hadn't finalized a lot of the specs when I got this. I don't have one, so.
Okay, and
I'm the guinea pig testing large tubes without the counterweight.
The other one is, and you'll know what we're talking about when we say it, but somebody was asking, did they eventually fix the oil leak?
Yes. Yeah. So the 2600. So as I said earlier on, there was a batch of cameras that had there is between the cooler and between the chip and the PCB that the chip sits on, there is a square heatsink pad that has a little bit of grease, silicon grease on there to act as the interface. And what was happening is that they'd put too much grease on that, and the actual oil was coming out of the pad. It would then run round and actually drip onto the sensor. That has been rectified. All of the stock from ZWO that they have in stock has been rechecked. The production facility has been changed around that grease, and there is a cleaning and repair process. If you do have one of these cameras, then ZWO will sort that. So, as I said earlier on, they really, they actually hurt, that customers had received, a product that wasn't up to spec. Yep. So they were, they are working really, really hard to fix this. And we're actually speaking this week. We were speaking this week to their new quality control manager. We're on, groups internally now about quality. We're looking at help desk and looking at what tickets are coming in, trying to find commonality in failures, so that we can then go back to the engineering team and say, hey, look, you have a problem here. We need to look at this. So the aim is that this should not happen in the future, because there's enough of us testing it and looking at these things. Okay,
there's a couple of more questions, but I do have a couple of things at the end that I kind of gotta sort out here. Gideon just asked, will ZWO be coming out with a 2.4 micron camera?
A 2.4 micron camera. Well, they've got the 294 mm, which is down there. They also got the 183 as well. So they've got mono and color in there. I'm surprised nobody's asked about the 533 mono.
Well, that just came in the chat immediately after that. So AZ4.
I don't know when the 533 will be out. There is limited stock from Sony of those chips. I would expect in the next month or two that you will see it on the market and available in limited stock. That's not because ZWO want to limit the stock because they want to drive the market. Sony just don't produce them in the volumes that is required because they are mono, but they'll be definitely on the market, within the next, 6 to 8 weeks, I would have expected. If I get one, I'll come show you one. Of course.
Pete, you had a question, Pete?
Sony and TrueSense, what they need to do is they got to start making pixel sizes between 7 and 9 microns.
Yes.
The larger size focal length scopes. And I'm telling you, unfortunately, they make it more for the medical and the sciences, not for our hobby. but I'm hoping and I'm praying and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that maybe they'll come up with something.
Yeah. I think you'll be fingers crossed for a long time. Most of the chips that we use are really for, as you say, they're actually for remote imaging, cameras and surveillance and video. They're not really designed for what we're doing. They just happen to do really, really well. But certainly, those bigger pixel sizes. Yeah, there's still life left for you, Dan. You can still use your old CCD.
Yeah,
I know you'll be happy at that.
I still got it. Hey, listen, you know what? I still got my S-Big STF 8300. I got my QHY 16200 now. Although I
you
do
remind us on a regular basis. I just want to say that, right?
What's that?
You remind us on a regular. You remind us on a regular basis. You've still got.
I got to keep the past alive somehow. I mean, I got to do it. But I gotta say, I got a QHY 268 coming. I got a 183. I got a 294. I mean, so I got some, but I'm slow. I'm doing it in baby steps. You remember, like, What About Bob? Remember the movie? Baby steps out the door. Baby steps. A little bit at a time. But everyone's talking about and we have one of our few Twitch watchers, Mr. Richard, asked, "What about a 4/3 size IMX 410 with bigger pixels?"
A 4/3 size, yeah. Don't know. The problem is with a lot of these cameras is that, and that's the thing. Going back to what Peter was talking about, it's not that ZWO don't want to build these things. It's the availability of the actual component in the sensors on the market at a price that amateurs would pay. So that's the challenge. I'm sure all of these chip manufacturers would create the chip that you wanted, but you probably wouldn't want to pay the price. If you won the lottery, then you'd probably be okay. But mass-produced cameras is like a lot of the chips. It's like the early sort of like the ASIO 71, where they're using the same chips that were in Nikon, Nikon DSLRs. And they're great because they're available, but to go large scale, large size pixels is hard. Yeah. That's why those cameras are pretty hard to get hold of and inexpensive.
We just got an email today that FLI is increasing their prices now, so it's gone up 7% since last year. And now you're looking at the 4040, the FLI 4040. It's astronomical when you start looking at the cost of that. It's just amazing.
I work in technology, and every single supplier is increasing prices across the board. The cost is going up, and shipping's going up. Shipping, long lead times, gear that used to be available off the shelf as a year lead time. It's just it's a hard market right now. We've seen that recently with Skywatcher prices.
Yeah, our market.
Good job! I invested in my 120, Dan. It's got a better return than gold.
Yeah, right.
Got anything else?
Oh yeah, we always got. There's always something else. Come on, man. Let's see. Hogarth said, "Thank you for putting on a great show. Thanks for showing us a new mount. Exciting times ahead. Got to go. It's 2:34 a.m. in the UK. So thank you to our UK watchers.
Yeah, wow, it's 2:30 in the morning. They're getting battered by storms as well. So interesting sleep.
What is that? Okay, I'm getting errors on the screen. Okay. Let's see. Any other questions in there? If not, it may be time. Oh, well, there is one from Jim Zastro. What about an inline motorized focuser?
Inline motorized focuser. Yeah, there's a lot. There's lots of ideas that we've got internally. It's putting into practice something that they can implement that. They can build they can build a reasonable amount of adapters for. And one of the things that we've talked about a lot in the ZWO ecosystem is kind of generally interchangeable. Adapters and cameras, they can kind of, mostly integrate with each other. Where that has changed a little is around, for example, the large format off-axis guider and 2-inch wheels, and the larger, full-frame cameras. They start to become a kind of ecosystem on their own because the physical shape of them doesn't match 533, 11 millimeter square type sensor. But the idea is to build something, let's take, for example, a rotator. You would want to build something that basically replaces an extension tube so that you can very easily integrate it. So it's really about building stuff that integrates into the rest of the ecosystem, doesn't create a whole bunch of extras or a whole bunch of, accessories that are only suitable for that item. So, yeah, it's about building something that is part of that, Lego brick style, system. So you go, I can buy one of those, replaces that tube, and I just slot it in, and away we go. And I don't have to worry. That's why some of the filter wheel, you basically put them together. All the bits are in the box. Don't need to buy anything else. And that's why the EAF, that's where the focuser works really, really well. Is that pretty much the bracket fits 98% of focusers on the market, or with a little bit of judicious filing or a drill and some extra screws, you can make them pretty much fit everything. Whereas if you had something that required adapters, you just end up in an adapter hell, and adapters cost, right? Manufacturers churn them out for cents, but then the vendor is selling them for $50, and that's what they're trying to avoid. So,
or you could just come to Long Island and enter my closet of death and get any adapter you wish. It's like a garage sale in there. You just get one. But
what you can't see is I have some drawers behind me, and they're my drawers of hell, cables and boxes and there was one boxes of bits, spares,
little black things.
Yeah, exactly. But let's see about the Planetarium feature that you were talking about before. The question was asked from Gideon Sanders. From Bob at MX Quattro. Will that Planetarium feature hook up with other mounts or just the AM5?
It will run any mount that the ASI Air can run. So it runs actually on the ASI Air. Oh, okay. And if you have a compatible mount, then you can use the Planetarium. So it's not just for this; it's for any mount that is actually connected to the. You can do go-tos on. I should caveat that. So as long as your mount does go-tos, so obviously the Star Tracker, Sky Guiders type thing, that's not gonna work. But certainly the any go-to mount will follow it around, because the Planetarium is just a visual screen of choosing an object and pressing go to, but you get a nice screen, and you can you've got things like you can choose scroll around the screen, zoom, you can stretch and zoom in the screen just by using standard a tablet or phone style commands with your fingers, gestures I think they call them. And then you can actually go to an object, or you can center on it, or you can just sleuth around. So it's real nice. I've been very impressed with it, playing with it. So I think once it's out of beta into release, I think there'll be a lot of people very happy, and we're going to keep developing that. This is only the sort of first stages of it, so there'll be a lot more features coming into that. But it's better than trying to get onto Stellarium and trying to work out where stuff is, and or going. You can go into the what's in the sky tonight in the ASI Air and go into the list of targets and see where stuff is, and then you can press go to from there, or you can actually come out and play around in the planetarium, which is good if you're looking for an object next to this one. You can star hop. So if you were doing visual, for example, you could star hop around objects as well. So,
all right, well, you know what? I'm getting completely slammed on emails regarding.
Hopefully good. Not like get this guy off the air. What are you doing?
Well, no, they want to know when we're doing the raffle, and that because tonight's raffle night.
The important stuff.
So and some stuff that we didn't go over in the beginning that I totally forgot about, Pete, was the picture contest.
Oh yes, yeah.
And I forgot to go over that. So what we'll do is over the course.
Do you want to jump in? Do you want to jump into that, Dan?
Jump into what?
You want to jump into your raffle and your
we will.
Your picture competition?
Yeah. Let's see. One last question on this. Are there any upgrades to the object list planned for the ASI Air? It's pretty limited.
Yeah, I mean, we always want to keep adding to that, but the problem is that the more that you put into that database, the larger the application gets, and there is always limited space on devices. There are limited space in tablets, so we're trying to cover off as much as we can, and then obviously putting new stuff in, you've got to retest everything as well. So but the answer is sure we're going to keep adding stuff into those, but it might not be the targets that you particularly want. But yeah, there's always a limit to this stuff and how much you can cram into that. It's not like it's on a PC or with a hard disk behind it. There is a limit to the size of databases in the air.
Got it.
And it's. I tell you what, there's one thing that I've noticed doing these beta tests from, what I was saying to TJ the other day, doing the beta tests now versus when ASI Air first came out. The size and breadth of what it does and the size of the application is incredible compared to what it was when it first came out, which has been an incredible journey. And that journey's not over. There's a lot more coming.
Yeah, I'm sure. There's always more stuff coming from ZWO. I mean, they just they corner the market in a number of areas, but
They like being innovative. I think that's the thing. Yeah. Is that Sam he loves seeing new stuff and being innovative around it, and I think that's the one thing that a lot of people say about ASI Air is there's all these releases and updates and releases and updates. What do you want to do? You want to buy something and then get a yearly update and not really add a huge amount? I think it's awesome. We like to hear ideas. People post stuff on Facebook, come up with options and ideas for things, and we go, oh wow, yeah, okay. Never thought about that. Let's have a look at that. That's why in the back of the ASI Air there's these experimental features. Somebody was complaining the other day about having all these experimental features. Well, they're just, they're features there that you can leave turned off if you don't want to play with them, like the all sky polar alignment tool. We're trying new things, and the only way you can see how good they're going to be is actually to push them out and let users play with them, see how they like them and whether they work or not. And then if they don't work, okay, you just lose them. Like a lot of software, they give experimental features, so that's why the testers are so important.
Yeah, we actually had a question for Jesse come across from Jim's Astro. Jesse, what kind of scope do you use?
Okay, so I'm using right now. My mount is the EQ6R. And I have two OTAs. The one I'm using right now is a Meade 70 millimeter quad. I do have, so Galaxy season is upon us. I do have an Explorer Scientific EV127, so that'll be sitting on top of it again here soon. So those are my two. And I have two imaging cameras. I have the ASI 294 MC, and I just about a month ago got the 2600 mono. So that's where I am as far as my gear. So
nice.
Yeah.
There you go.
Come down probably.
Hey.
I sit down, my legs are me.
Oh, Simon, I was like, Simon, what'd you do? You moved to another room or something? What are you doing?
There's your next purchase, Jesse.
And what is that? Yeah, it's an Optilon box. What is it?
That's the 3 nanometer.
The Optilon, yeah, pros, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Save a bunch of money.
Got him too. So.
Well, Simon, I definitely want to thank you. That was a very good detailed explanation of the mount and, answering a lot of our questions. So thank you very, very much.
Yeah, that's fine, Peter. I mean, the idea of these things, I mean, I could sit here and talk about the mount and, not get a lot of questions, but nobody in ZWO it will not answer a direct question. We'll tell you if we can, and certainly TJ and I are really keen to, get people's opinions and ideas. We want constructive feedback. We want, as much as it pains us, there are repairs that don't go right, or people's cameras that don't go right, and that's what we're trying to. That's the quality issue that we're trying to drive forward. So that really will improve now. We've got TJ and I helping on the help desk. We're engaged with all of the internal teams, so that's the idea. But people can always reach out. There's a couple of good forums. There's an ASI Facebook ZWO mounts. So if anybody wants to ask any questions about the AM5, they can come on there and ask about that. The tripod. There's the ZWO cameras page if you've got a question around a camera, and also the ASI Air as well. There's a group for that. So if you have an ASI Air and you've got some queries about it, then come on and ask. And there's a lot of knowledgeable people as well. So there's a lot of people use that, every night, a lot more than I do. I spend a lot of time, answering help desk tickets and things. So, but just fire away. So if people got questions, then always feel free to answer. Ask away, and we'll get you an answer. And if we don't know, we'll go ask. And from my point, the team at ZWO will come up with an answer.
So Simon, is your AstroWorld web email up and running? Are you watching it or?
Yeah, somewhere, wherever my phone is.
No. I'm just wondering if you're watching it. So if they want to email you a question, they can email you there as well.
So you can email me, Simon at AstroWorld's .com.
AstroWorld Web.
Facebook. AstroWorld Web, AstroWorldWeb.com. You can email me there. You can catch me on Facebook as well. People do, or you can always email support@ZWO. On the back of the website, there is a support contact page. Reach out on there if you've got a question, and we'll try and help out.
And just so everybody knows, we have Simon. Actually, Simon's been been part of the AstroWorld community for quite some time now, and I gotta say thank you right now to Simon personally for the work that he has done on the AstroWorld website, which is coming up, and it's probably going to go live within the next week or so. It's up there. It's semi-functional now. But there's some cleaning up that's got to be done. So if you go on there, don't make fun of me, don't yell at me, don't do anything. Wait for another week and it'll be done. But no, Simon, thank you so much. You're doing an outstanding job, and I appreciate everything you're doing, and it's coming out really awesome. I love it.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I mean, I like coming on talking about astrophotography. I do that. I'm also the vice president of the Canterbury Astronomical Society, and I do a lot with those guys as well. Do a lot of outreach and training youngsters in astronomy. So yeah, I'm quite used to appearing on the Explore Scientific shows, talking about outreach and bringing youngsters into the hobby. And yeah, it's great fun. It's got a lot of facets in this hobby, and it's great because I get to play with all sorts of stuff, and then go teach the youngsters how to do this, and they love it. Like the ASI Air, they've got 7-8-year-olds that drag the CM40 out. They go polar align, and then they sit in the deck chair and with a tablet, and they're dragging the scope around, taking pictures of the sky. That's brilliant. They're so in tune with technology that they having it on the tablet and playing with it. They love that. So can't beat that. Watching the 7-year-old drag a dob out that's the size of those. They have them. They drag that out onto the observing paddock and get the little stool because they can't see through the eyepiece. Yeah, it's brilliant. Love it.
Simon, you and I will have to talk sometime. I teach high school, and I have been wanting so bad to start some kind of an astronomy club at my school. I have never done that. I've never even been to a star party and I've never actually had somebody observing next to me ever in my life. So I wouldn't even know where to start. So we'll have to have a conversation sometime about that because I would love to bring you.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh. So Jesse, you know what you got? Then you know what? If it happens this year, you gotta come to Cherry Springs in either. If you could wait till September, The skies are definitely better in September than they are in June because they do 2 star parties there, and it's right in the middle of the mountains in Pennsylvania, and it's a Bortle 2, if I remember right. It's Bortle 2, Bortle 3 sky. It's 2, right? 2. Thank you, Scott. The first time I was there. Simon's laughing at us. He's like, yeah, I'm at Bortle 1. But he's like, so I couldn't see my face. I couldn't see my hand in front of my face when I was there the first time. And the first time I was there, I got lost in the sky. I couldn't even see the brightest constellations because it was so flooded with stars that I couldn't. It took me a night to realize what I was looking at.
That's amazing.
And yeah, so you'll definitely be. It's only for us. For New York, it's about a 6-hour drive.
I think it's 8 hours north for me. I'll be up there. I'm off in the summer, so I'm going to be up there. I just didn't make it this summer, but I'm going to be up there one way.
Yeah, I don't think anyone made it this summer, but or last summer. That being said, Simon, thank you so much for doing this. But I'm getting slammed. I got to do this. I got to do the raffle. You know what I really want to see? We were at 42 watchers. We almost broke our record at 43. But these guys are killing me. Anyway, all right. So let's do the raffle. And Jesse, what we're gonna do is, since you're the newcomer, you're gonna tell me. You're gonna go, no whammies, no whammies. All right. And you're going to go spin, all right? Because I'm going to share my screen now. Now, there is one caveat this time and I'll only mention the caveat after the wheel or if it happens. So there is one caveat to this spin. First of all, let me say thank you to all the people that have we had 44 entries for this camera. So thank you so much for the entries. And Jesse, whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Let me know when to spin it.
No whammies.
There you go. Here we go.
We have a winner!
Bob Santos. Bob Santos. You know what? I'm getting so lucky. This is the second one I don't have to ship because he lives on Long Island. Bob Santos.
Nice.
The second one in a row. The one guy lived in the next town over. Now this guy lives out in East Long Island, and he comes in the store all the time.
I tell you what, that wheel is fixed.
Well, then you can blame it on Sean. Email Sean Nielsen at visibledark.ca and tell him that his wheel is fixed because he turned me on to this wheel. So congratulations to Sean. So the caveat to this, and I got to say thank you to one of the members that bought 10 chances to this. Mark Ellis. Mark Ellis said, "You know what? If it spins and I win, spin it again. I don't want it. I just wanted to donate to because he enjoys the show and he just wanted to give another person a chance because he doesn't need the camera." But yeah.
Didn't you tell him that there's also a little tweak to this? Is that since he's won now he's got to get 10 more members for our viewership.
There you go, Bob. See, there you go, Bob. It's on you. So by the end of the month, we're at 1,040 subscribers right now. So I expect to be 1,050, and they all got to say, "Bob sent me." But Pete, why don't you go over what we were talking about before? Because it's basically your brainchild about the photograph. And I thought it was an awesome idea. And Simon, you need to listen in on this because this is going to be something that's going to be headed onto the website. So,
well, basically, what was funny is we were talking about this last week, and we kind of thought that we get a lot of photographs, and we kind of look at the photographs and we kind of give them our personal critique, and we just thought that what we would do is that every Friday, what we'll do is we'll have everybody send in photographs, and what we'll do is we'll look at the photographs and which one that we choose as being the best photograph, we'll have that as our splash screen for the following Wednesday and Friday show. So in other words, that photograph then will actually be on the front splash screen so that whenever anybody logs in, they'll be able to see that particular photograph. So we kind of reached out, last Wednesday, I think it was?
Yeah.
And we've got some photographs that have already been sent in. So Simon, with your help, we're going to kind of look at these different photographs. And then as a collective group between the 5 of us, we'll kind of decide which one we think was the best one that we liked. And that will be the splash screen photo.
Yeah, so and then maybe something on the webpage saying photo of the week or something like that,
Yeah, absolutely. What we'll do is we'll call it the Astro APOD, AstroWorld APOD for the week.
I thought we could do the Astropod.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I think I like it. Yeah.
The Astropod. So that's what it's going to be. But it was a great idea, Pete, and I think it's a way to get some of our viewerships work out there. And let the other viewers kind of enjoy the work. So,
and as you said, it kind of gives us our viewers to kind of get active participation in the group, because I mean, really, this is kind of what we want to do here, is to get them actively involved, working with us and conversing like we've just done tonight. So I think it's a great idea for everybody. So it's kind of what we like to do here. So what do you say? We got any photos so we can kind of look at?
Actually, I got a really good one. I believe it was from AZ Forerunner, if I remember right. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. I mean, this is definitely a really nice one. Where did he put it? Hold on a second.
Hey, Dan, kind of maybe digress as to what it is that we look at when we kind of look at these photographs, so people see what the criteria is that we're doing.
So composition, number one, is it pleasing to look at? Don't get me wrong. There are pictures. All the pictures are pleasing to look at, to be honest with you. I mean, but it's how they are composed. Did you get that nice bright star in the background? Do you have these nice little faint fuzzies? Is your main part of the picture a little bit off center? It's not, do you have more in the picture that's involved with the whole composition of the photo? And then there's the aesthetics of the photo. So noise level, color, contrast, all these kinds of little different things, how it's processed. The color, I mean, listen, color is in the eye of the beholder. I mean, that's not a big, we had a purple elephant trunk the other night that we all loved. And, but it was because it was different. It was different. And it had all the detail, but it was just like this nice kind of lava lampish kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
And it was really, really cool.
Kind of like the blue horse head. Remember the blue horse head?
Yeah, that too was awesome. And but these different takes on other objects are really interesting, and it's like we just got another one from D. Hess on the Bubble Nebula from a Bortle 7. But here is one. There's two different ones, but here's the first one.
Ooh, witch head.
I always love this type, this kind of like this composition type, where you got the nice, well, I forget which star this is, but this star up here, it looks like the witch's head is like wanting to eat that star, and just just is coming after, or it's completely shocked it's so bright, or something like that. I just love the way this kind of thing looks. And there was another one that he did. It was a little different take on it. There's another one. So a little different take on it. And this is done in, yeah.
Ooh, look at that.
Yeah.
So they've definitely done star reduction. Look at that.
Oh yeah. They definitely squashed them a little bit and made the, the person that does this, that's from Craig.
Is Craig online right now?
I haven't seen him in the chat, but he was on the last show.
I'm working with Craig on a couple of projects.
Yeah, this is Craig Stocks, and he does some awesome stuff out of Utah desert. I mean, I was on his Astro bin. It's just ridiculous. But he does some great stuff. I'm sorry, this one was from AZ4, and then this one was from Craig. So another two really good takes on the witch's head, and then we got this from D. Hess, little bubble nebula action.
Mm-hmm.
So are we looking to decide between these three? Is that what we have, or is there more?
I think, well, there's more.
Okay.
There's Mark's from last week.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think we should discuss this offline.
I judged the ZWO image of the week as well, and it's really interesting to see the differences in images. It's not always the most expensive equipment that wins, and it's always, I would say, if you're interested in having a go at it, submit, because we get some cracking images that are taken on real simple equipment for the ZWO one, and everybody sort of shouts, "Oh, you've got to have the latest and greatest cameras, got to have this, that, and the other." Some of the best winners we've had are like the ASA 1600, and they're still winning today. So if you've got older gear, don't think you can't have a go. I'm really interested in that composition, but I'm also interested in the kind of projects. I've seen people doing mosaics, and they've got 6 months, 2 years, 3 years, and that's dedication, and they look fabulous. Wow, there's a lot of dedication into those. So but we get some really good solar images as well. Solar, planetary. They're really, there's a lot of stuff to image.
Let's do this, Dan. We will see those images, and then offline, between the five of us, we'll decide. And then on the Wednesday show, that will be the splash screen that gets posted once we decide.
Sounds good.
Think that we're in agreement to that. Is that acceptable for all of us?
So if anybody else wants to, do you want to submit some more for?
Absolutely.
Let's submit some more until Tuesday, let's say.
Yeah. And then what we have to do is we'll have to get into the green room prior to the show on Wednesday and make that decision then.
Yep.
Or want to make the decision tonight with what's available. That's what's already been sent in. What does the collective group want to do?
I don't care. I'm easy either way.
Yeah. Scott, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, that's fine. You can also go through the the admin, on Facebook.
Okay. So are we agreeable then that we'll just wait until say Wednesday before the show? We'll go into the green room, and then say at 5:30 we'll take 15 minutes and go through each of the photos, and then that'll be the one that goes on the splash screen. If that's acceptable. Okay. And then that way, then Dan, you can kind of post right now where they need to send the photos.
Yeah, you can send them to either the Discord channel, which is AstroWorld's Q&A, You could either do it there, or you could email myself at dan@astroworldweb.com, and I'll throw it up there somewhere. I don't know where it's going to be. Oh, right in the middle. There you go. I'll give Scott the Wilson treatment. Hold on. There we go. But you can email me there. You can send it in either the FIT, TIFF. I'd rather not JPEG because JPEG gets crunched quite a bit.
Send it TIFF.
Yeah, and in all fairness, I'll be honest with you. I would rather everybody email it to me than send it on a Discord, because Discord gets crunched too, and it just looks horrible. Even though they're great photos.
I have a challenge with email because the email limits are quite low sometimes. So
what's that?
I say you may have a problem with email because sometimes email limits are quite low.
Or you know what I could do? I could make a shared folder on my Google Drive, and you could just drop it in there too. I think that might be the easiest way, actually, now that I think about it. So what I'll
look at the website and see how we manage that, because maybe we can use the website to put an upload area, but have to look at that in the future.
We could do that too. Yeah. But for right now, I think the Google Drive may be the easiest way right now, that you could just drop it on there, and I could just download them.
And then what we could do then, Dan, is that following Friday, that it'll be posted on the Wednesday show and the Friday show as a splash screen. What we'll do is that Friday we'll talk about why we decided it was such a good photo that it caught our interest. We decided to choose it. And this is just, once again, all these photos are great. I mean, believe me, all these photos are great. We're trying to encourage everybody to get out there, just enjoy the photos. And as I said, we're just kind of choosing photos based upon what Dan said is the criteria. And everybody will get an honest answer and an honest response to why we happen to choose that photo. And I think everybody will enjoy that, because it's kind of nice to be able to see their photos posted on the show. I think it's going to be a good idea.
And then you know what we could do? We could take all 52 of them. Let's say we're starting this week, right? So it'll be like, let's say, what is this? Week 7. So 45 weeks we'll have, let's say. We'll have 45 weeks of stuff. So then we can do a photo of the year out of those 45.
Absolutely.
And then the winner of that 45 gets something from the closet of death.
You get yourself a precise parts adapter.
You'll get this. You'll get this. This is what I'm giving out.
Image Plus.
The Sky, the original, the Sky, and this is top of the line. Windows 95 compatible. You can't beat this. You can't beat this. This is the win.
I want the Image Plus.
You can have it. I can't count on how many scratches you have. I'm telling you.
Hey guys, I have to drop off. We have a storm coming in here, and I need to go and lock up outside.
Got to batten down the hatches.
Yeah, batten down the hatches.
It's gonna be. We have had the wettest summer in 80 years. And we have normally this time of the year we are in a fire ban. There is no fires allowed because it's so dry. And since Christmas we've had 250 millimeters of rain. Was that sort of dangers? So it's the West Coast a week or two ago. They had 3 feet of rain in 2 days. So that's rain.
You're confusing the hell out of me, because you go from millimeters to feet, so I don't know where you're coming from.
I have to translate it for Tyler all the time, because I said to him, "No, we had a meter of rain." He's like, "What's that in real money?"
Dan, just remember 25.4
when he tells me
25.4. Yes,
25.4. That's it. That's all you have to remember.
He tells me it's 30 degrees outside, and I'm like, "That sounds hot." No, Fahrenheit.
Man.
How cold's that?
It's that. Well, we were down in the teens this week, so I don't know.
Yeah,
that's pretty darn cold.
All right, guys, I'm going to drop off.
Thanks,
I really
Simon.
appreciate
Thanks,
it. We'll
Simon.
see you again soon, and thanks. We'll bring
Simon. Thanks so much.
News.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good night.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for all the viewers, and if you want to catch us, we'll see you on Facebook.
You got it, Simon. And Simon's out. Okay.
There we go.
There we go. So that was Simon Lewis from ZWO, and he gave us a nice little rundown on that AM5.
Sure did.
Yeah.
I want one.
Yeah.
I'm looking at that going, oh my gosh, I want to be able to take that and set it up, because once I get my stuff set up and I'm polar aligned between my little leaves and trees, I don't want to move my stuff. So, and nice lightweight, pick it up, take it in the car, off we go. Yeah, I want one.
You can do that. You put it on your shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super light. It holds a decent payload, and for what, $2,300 with a tripod.
Not under. I mean, that's not
the only thing that I'd be concerned about is the lightness of it. You know, that is, as long as it has a hook on the bottom underneath the tripod that you can add a weight to draw that weight straight down into the ground. That would make me feel better. You know. I think that little tray that he showed up, that little tray thing. And if you, I mean, like yourself, you have a Gold Zero battery. If you put that Gold Zero in there, well, that's never going to fit in there. That battery's way.
Well,
too
no,
big.
you have the 1,000, right? Yeah, I mean, my 500 can probably fit in there.
It might, sure.
You know. So even if not, you could take like a 11-pound counterweight, the little round guy, and plop it in there. You know. Everyone's got those. I got 3 of them in my closet of death.
It really is amazing what adding weight to underneath that tripod like that, what it does. I mean, as a landscape photographer, you know, I can tell you that there've been many times that I've set up on, and I don't use cheap tripods. I use all Gitzo tripods, and they're top of the line, but I still have to add weight. You know, underneath that, running a big 300 millimeter camera lens and a full frame camera, you know, for shooting birds or whatever. I want to make sure that I get a gust of wind. It's not going to put a $6,000 camera down on the ground.
Yeah, exactly. But
did he say what size was the counterweight bore shaft, the bore hole for the counterweights? Because they don't make counterweight, so it's got to be like either an Ioptron counterweight.
I think it was like an 18 or a 19 millimeter. I think he said shaft.
Was that it? So we didn't ask him about whose counterweight can be used.
He did mention it. Well,
I feel like he said it. I, in my mind, I'm thinking 12, but I mean, I feel like he said it at some point, you know, somewhere.
He did say it, but if it's like in the high teens, I mean, Ioptron makes them, Celestron makes them. You know, I just went through this whole travesty with counterweights at the store trying to find right.
So did he say then that ZWO is making the counterweight shaft, or is it going to be a third-party counterweight shaft?
No, I think he said that ZWO is making the shaft, but not the weight.
Not the counterweights. Yeah, typically that's the same thing with Hoban. Hoban's the same way.
Yeah,
Rainbow would be the same way. Yeah, they'll make the counterweight shaft, but they'll get third-party counterweights.
Everyone's yelling 12 millimeters at us, so it's a 12 millimeter shaft. So that's a thin shaft.
Tiny. That's a half inch.
Yeah, that's a thin shaft.
Yeah.
So it's a lot smaller than the EQ6R shaft. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. 12 millimeters sounds too small to me.
You know, that is ringing in my head though. That 12 millimeter number. I think he might have said that. Whether he meant it or not, I don't know.
It might be the 12 millimeter bolt that goes into.
Maybe. I'll bet you
the shaft is at least 1.25 inches.
We'll get some qualifications on that.
And then ask him whose counterweights would he recommend for that to fit that particular borehole.
That shaft. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just saw that Tom Bramwell, before we close out, Tom Bramwell's still watching. He's actually working on something for me personally on the side, and he's watching. And I gotta say, so for those of you that don't know Tom Bramwell has been working for Prima Luce for quite some time. And everybody knows I'm a big Prima Luce fan. I don't make it any secret. I love their stuff, and Scott, you as well. Tom is coming up on an anniversary, I guess, of sorts, and I don't know if he knows that I know this or not, but he's coming up on an anniversary of sorts, and in March he is getting his first year under his belt under Prima Luce USA.
Yep.
So, Tom, I know you're watching.
Done a great job.
So I have. This is not from the closet of death. This is something else. I know. I promised you an AstroWorld shirt because he's getting me a Prima Luce shirt. But there's something else in this box, and it's fragile. And yes, I did keep this. So I'm sending it back to you, and I want you to hang it up in your little studio lab or whatever, and that's going to go out. It might be a little bit earlier than your anniversary, but there it is. I just want to say thank you because Tom's done a lot of work and answered a lot of questions for me on a personal level, and he's just an awesome guy.
Ticking?
What's that?
Is it ticking? He's like, is it ticking?
Hey, Tom, you got to reach out to Jerry Valdez because you two guys got to go out to Terra del Sol and do some imaging. I think Jerry's still on the show.
Yeah, it's another cat. It's a dying hummingbird in here. That's no, just kidding. It's not crazy. It's just I just want to say thank you, Tom, for everything you've done for me personally and professionally. Thank you so much. And I'm going to send this to you. So happy anniversary.
Absolutely.
So, but anyway, what else we got? We're on 2:15 right now. So I guess let's start wrapping this stuff up because my throat's dying anyway. Start sending in your photos for the first week's Astropod, I guess we'll call it. So AstroWorld picture of the day, and we'll start looking at it, and we'll look at it all on Tuesday night, and everybody's more than welcome, not just the five of us that were on tonight, but I know Tegan was in the chat, Eric, who is on a little family hiatus right now, and Tyler, and obviously Jesse, you're part of the team now. You're more than welcome to put your 2 cents in on Tuesday or Wednesday night, if you want to jump on for 15 minutes. We'll get on. We'll start dissecting. But please, what I'm going to do is I thought about it over the last 15 minutes in my head. I'm going to make a shared AstroWorld file folder on Google Drive. Drop your fit file or your fit file. Yeah, please fit file. And we'll open it up and we'll share it with each other. Please, this is going to be people with other pictures also in there, so everybody kind of be nice because you'll be able to see the other pictures. But just don't take anything out of the folder. Please. Okay? Please don't take... Just because you don't like somebody doesn't mean you get to take the picture out. So just please, this is an honor system, so dump the pictures in there. And if you guys are scared and that people don't like you, feel free to email it to me. But that's a great idea. And then we'll end it up at the end of the year with a picture of the year, and we'll think of a special prize for that.
Yeah, we'll do our own APOD here for our own. I think it's a great idea.
Who needs NASA? Get out of here! Come on. Dan, what about that metric or imperial? Oh, okay, LaDonna, I'm sorry. I didn't know that you were actually serious about that question. I apologize. I thought you were making a joke. So the Allen keys for the at least the Sharp Star ones were all metric, and it's all either 5 or 6, M5 or M6. So that's what it was for that. I believe there was an M2 or an M1.5, really tiny guy, to remove the grub screws because it's not as user friendly as a ZWO as far as the altitude adjustments are. You needed to take a bar out, and it has altitude ranges like every 9 or 10 degrees. You actually had to unloosen these grub screws at M1.5, pull out this bar, put it in your latitude range, put the grub screws back in, and then you were able to change the latitude only up to 10 degrees with the use of the altitude adjustment bar, which is not attached to the altitude knob, and you have to carry that around with you. So if you go out to Cherry Springs and forget your altitude adjustment bar, you better find a decent stick in the woods that's not going to snap on you, because that's going to be a problem. But it's ZWO, I believe, is also metric as well. Not a lot of people use the SAE or Imperial, unless if you're ADM or somebody that makes something in the United States, because most things are made outside the United States these days, and most are using, and correct me if I'm wrong, Pete, most are using the metric system for their bolts and their Allen keys. But all right. So let's do, it's 10:21. How about final thoughts? We'll go around the horn and we'll do final thoughts. And then we'll start it off with the newcomer. Go ahead, Jess.
So, well, guys, again, thank you so much for having me on. I'm really excited to be here. I had no idea that the AM5 was even a thing. So I'm really excited to see, them testing it and see what's going on with that. I love the idea of doing the Astropod. That's fantastic. So I hope we get a lot of submissions between now and Tuesday night, and I will definitely be at least joining you guys for a little bit. And
it's fine.
And I'm partial to purple. Anybody? Just gonna throw that out there.
There you go. We'll do the elephant trunk for you.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, Peter, Scott.
Well, go ahead, Scott.
I would say definitely, and also to you, Jesse, that you'd mentioned about wanting to do an astronomy club, in your with your students and with the school, promote here to the kids, have them come in and watch the channel, ask questions, as we talk about what we do. And get the kids interested that way. I mean, these kids are gonna, they're all right here anyway.
Yeah, yeah, they are. I told some of my students that because of course they ask on Fridays, what are you doing for the weekend? I'm like, oh my gosh, guys, I'm gonna be, and I wouldn't tell them what the channel was. I'm not like, everybody is strictly forbidden from even knowing where I am tonight, because I did not want a bunch of kids being on there like, this is my day, and who knows? They're freshmen, so. That it's all unscripted with these guys, but yeah, no, that would be. I want to do something with them, but I don't know how to. It's hard to set up some kind of a star party, even if you're doing astronomy, astrophotography. If you've never been to one, you don't know what to look for. You don't know where, And so I've kind of been like putting my feet out there for years, and like I want to do this, and then just that starting point. So
well, you just got an invite a couple of minutes ago in the chat from our resident mascot, Black Man, and that's actually his name. His name is Black Man, right, and he is from Delaware.
Really?
And he said he has set up astronomy outreach in his area, and would be happy to get on with you on email or whatever, and shoot some ideas back and forth. So
absolutely, I'm in Sussex. I am right outside of Lewis Milton area, but I teach in Laurel. That's where I am. But Delaware is small enough. I can, so yeah, that'd be great. Awesome.
So there you go. Hey, you got your first contact. There you go.
And there's another Delaware, astronomer, astrophotographer. I found one other one who's in the building with me. He does, visual, but he's in the middle school side. But like, I didn't know, I got to find more Delaware. I know there's people out here in Delaware that are doing astronomy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I just got to find them.
Yeah. And what we tell everybody that's on the show too is that, like, when they're looking for people, join your local astronomy club. Everybody's got one somewhere. It may be a little bit further away for you because it may be a little bit sparsely populated. It's not like New York where you have literally 3 astronomy clubs on Long Island, in the light polluted capital of the world, to be honest with you. But there's definitely going to be something, or even some sort of virtual thing that you kind of get into just to get in and meet people. So I mean, your best resource is the people around you. So
yeah, and we can actually help you set up EAA, with your kids, so that you could do a live stacking, EAA broadcast, where the kids can see things done live.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing. Yeah.
Had a lot of success. Dan's had a lot of success with that in the past.
Yeah.
So
I got lazy and I stopped doing it. I don't know why I stopped doing it though, but I got to get fantastic. Yeah, not now that I'm
Dan, like 2,000. You had 2,000 viewers that one night.
No, almost
4,000.
Almost double. Yeah, in like 3 days on Facebook. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I was online for like 5.5 hours though. I was sitting. I was doing an entire session, but
right.
But it takes a lot out of you doing it 3 or 4 times a week, plus 2 shows. It takes a lot out of you. So and soon to be podcast and soon to be website, and it's a lot. So but with everybody joining the club, everybody joining the community, it's getting easier. So
well, as I said, this is a testament to Jesse. Jesse, welcome to the boys club.
Thank you. Thank you.
And my final thoughts is, once again, this is reaching out to the membership. I mean, everybody's enjoying the show. Please pass the word. Pass the word. Yep. I mean, it's such an informal show. It's giggles and laughs. It's informative information. It's a sharing of ideas. And it's a real testament to Dan putting this thing together as the hub. And we're all just the spokes coming to this hub. And as I said, it's a treat to be able to be part of it. No question about it. It's absolutely amazing. And I just cannot say enough that if we can expand our membership, you're going to see this thing start to grow, and the ideas and the thoughts and the creativity that will just kind of grow from this, and the relationships. More importantly, you're right. It's all about relationships, right?
Yep. Agreed.
Hobby is all about relationships. So as I said, it is a kind of a collective group. And I just want to just say, memberships, please spread the word and spread the gospel, and anytime on Wednesdays and Friday nights, where we're at. So please join us.
I got a bunch of questions and emails already saying, where's the Google Drive link? I didn't set it up yet. I just literally thought of it 20 minutes ago. So hopefully I can set it up tonight. And what I will do is, you know what I'll do on the YouTube channel, in the comments, I'll put the link in the comments, plus the Discord. I'll do it at everyone on Discord. We only have, we got 42 members on the Discord right now. So that's decent, but we also have 1,000 on YouTube. So what I'll also do is I'll do a YouTube live blast on it, and we'll do it, and we'll get it out there to everybody. Don't worry about that.
Sounds good.
All right.
All righty.
All right, everybody. Well, we're at 2.5 hours. And thank you, everybody, again for watching. And like Pete said, get the word out. We love doing this, but the more the merrier. And that's the way it is. So everybody have a good night. I know in the northeast, we're coming up on some nights that are clear without a full moon, which is nice. And that's going to be nice. It's going to be about 78% full, but what are you going to do? It's going to, but that being said, everybody, have a good night. Get out there, get imaging. And as always, remember, keep imaging, keep educating, and clear skies. And we'll see you Wednesday night. Wednesday night, and we'll talk about the first AstroPod. Have a good night, guys. Bye-bye. And
all right.
One second. Let me just wait for this to be done. And next.